What's going on, everybody? We are back, and once again, we are going over the fan fiction and on the run. And let us get not waste any more time and get cracking. Chapter 2. Finally, Future Rogue and the dragons were defeated. Natsu was processing Future Rogue's final words. Lucy? He was startled when the beautiful blonde ran up to him and hugged him from behind. It was a tender moment between the two. Yes, it was. Thanks for pointing that out. Thank you, Natsu. Thank you, she said into his back. Natsu took the opportunity to turn around and envelop her in his arms. Lucy was startled at first, completely taken aback by Natsu's sudden act of affection. Lucy, know that I will always protect you. I will always be with you. He stared intently into her chocolate brown eyes. She was left speechless. Natsu, was all she could say before he silenced her with her lips. The kiss was soft and tender at first, which turned passionate once their tongues met. Once the kiss ended, Natsu laid his forehead against her and decided that there was no time like the present to confess. He wanted enough time he wasted, she meant wasted. He wasted enough time beating around the bush after witnessing her future self die. He knew he couldn't keep playing around anymore. Lucy, to me, you are more than just nakama, which is Japanese for friend, in case you didn't know. You are strong, smart, beautiful, both inside and out. You are a weirdo only because when I'm around you, you make me feel weird inside. I've never felt this before, and I don't want it to go away. You are everything to me, and I can't lose you. Lucy, I love you. At this point, his face matched his hair. Never had he been so nervous. Hell, he was surprised he was even able to say all that. Lucy was taken aback. She was stunned silent, processing what he just said. Once she processed what he said, she was elated and jumped into his arms and kissed him hard. Natsu, you have no idea how happy you just made me. I love you too, so much. Her face was burning up and hid her face in his scarf. She was embarrassed by her own confession. I'm assuming she meant. Natsu never felt such relief ever in his life. The love of his life returned his feelings. He was so happy. He kissed her again, only to be abruptly interrupted by a snickering blue cat. They love each other. Happy was floating around, chanting he originally wanted to teach them, but couldn't help it. He was happy for his friends. Finally, those two idiots admitted to each other what everyone else knew all along. Natsu laughed while Lucy buried her head into his chest. Yes, we are happy. Yes, we are. Wouldn't that mean yes, we do, not are? Because you do love each other. He didn't say they're in love with each other. That what could have been that could be fixed. Later that night, the guild got together at one of the very few bars that hadn't been destroyed. The guild was celebrating their victory. Beers and hugs were being passed around. Everyone was in a happy, celebratory mood. Everything came to a standstill, and I think standstill is one word, when the newly formed couple walked in hand in hand. Mira squealed, running to them. Oh my God! Does this mean what I think it means? She asked, all giddy and hopeful. Natsu took the opportunity to pull a startled Lucy into his arms and kiss her. The entire guild was left in shock, jaws dropped at the sudden act of affection. Does that answer your question, Mira? He smugly answered. Lucy was mortified. She was so embarrassed, not used to the public acts of affections, or public displays of affection, but whatever, it's the same thing. But the guild erupted in cheers. Finally, the two idiots got together. You already said that. You could have come up with a different thing for that, is all I'm saying. The girls dragged Lucy away, much to Natsu's dismay. He didn't want to be separated from her. The guys came up to him to congratulate him. Luchan, I'm so happy for you, Levy happily exclaimed. I was assuming that's what she meant. It's about time you two got together, so who made the first move? Kana asked. She was not one to shy away from asking steamy details. Lucy-san, I am so happy for you. You and Natsu-san make a great couple, don't they, Charlie? When he sweetly asked, Charlie simply nodded in agreement. Lucy, if Natsu disrespects you in any way, please let me know so I can punish him, Urza said, with such seriousness in her voice which made Lucy shiver. Juvia is so happy that Lucy's no longer a love rival, Juvia happily exclaimed. So one thing about Juvia, I just wanted to point out, this has nothing to do with anything, but I just wanted to point out that in the dubs, and like in the dub, like she doesn't speak in the third person, which is very weird. Um, and I've noticed that happens a lot in like dubs or like characters. Like I think Frosh also supposed to talk in like the third person, but she, whatever, it doesn't do that. It's very weird. I don't know why that is. It's interesting. Just wanted to point that out. It has nothing to do with anything. Let's get back to this. Thank you, everyone. And Juvia, I was never your love rival. Juvia finally regained her composure and thanked everyone for their kind words. It's kind of funny because I just watched an episode of the Tartaros arc of Fairy Tale where Juvia was unconscious and she was having like a dream where like Lucy was trying to take Gray away from her. And Lucy was like, what do I have to do to prove to you I don't like him? It's like it's like that. It's so great. I love it. Lisanna simply sat. Well, anyway, back to this. Lisanna simply sat quietly around the group of girls, being disgusted by the scene. Natsu should have been hers. She swore to herself that Lucy would pay. She was seething inside. Unfortunately, no one was suspecting what Lisanna was up to. She was a good actress, after all. And that is part two. Bit of grammatical problems here, but the point still stands, showing everyone's reactions and the confession of Natsu and Lucy and everyone's reactions to how it went, and Lisanna's sudden flare up of anger, which is going to contribute to her plan. It's not bad, but could be worked in the grammatical department. And anyway, I will see you all for part three. Stay beautiful. I forgot to say that for the past one, but stay beautiful.